Good morning and welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. There is a very good British and Commonwealth middleweight title fight coming up at the weekend, and it is between George LIDDARD, who is 12-0, 7 KOs, young fighter, has looked very, very impressive and has been matched very, very impressively throughout his 12 contests. He is 23 years old, so he's very young. Last seen fighting an eliminator against a guy called Aaron Sutton, who was 19 wins and 1 defeat, and he knocked Sutton down 3 times maybe. And Sutton can fight a bit and was exchanging and probably the wrong tactic, but LIDDARD stopped him in the 5th round. It was a very impressive performance, I thought. He's also got a unanimous 10-round decision over Derek Azaze. Another good fighter. I think he was 13-2 or something like that. His previous fight, I can't remember the name, the African fellow, Elunga someone, I think his name was. He bombed him out in a round, but here's the thing. The African fella came in with 29 wins, 2 defeats and a draw. George Davey stopped him in 5 rounds. He was 9-1. So, LIDDARD has faced really good opposition for a guy who's only had 12 fights, and he's being fast-tracked because he's a prospect, a very good prospect. So he's taking on KIERAN Conway, and Conway has faced very, very good opponents. He has a far less flashy record. He's got 23 wins with 7 KOs, so it doesn't look like he hits very hard, although he's one of those fighters who probably hits harder than his record suggests. He's got 3 defeats, all on points, and a draw. He's 29. So we're talking the young gun versus the sort of the old hand, if you like. He's tall. I think he's about an inch or 2 taller than LIDDARD. Won't make a great deal of difference, I suppose. But when I mention that Conway probably hits harder than you might think, I would point to his last performance, which was against Jerome Warburton. And Warburton was 15 wins, 1 defeat, and 2 draws. And this was for, I think it was for the Commonwealth title, which was held by Conway, and the British title was vacant. Okay, again, these are middleweights. And Conway really showed a hell of a sort of previously hidden aggression, and really chopped to the body brilliantly. I mean, he would not stop going to he stopped Warburton in 4 rounds, but he would not stop going to the body. He was walloping Warburton, who was trying to stay in the pocket and punch back, but it didn't happen. And in the end, he got chopped down with body shots. Very, very aggressive, very impressive performance by Conway. He had his eyes on that British belt and wasn't going to take his eyes off it. But he won. He was already the Commonwealth champ because he won a split decision over Ryan Kelly. Again, impressive enough record. 19 wins, 4 defeats and a draw. And prior to that, he beat a guy. This was over in Japan. I can't remember the name of the guy. I can't remember who he fought. I know he fought in Japan, and he scored an impressive stoppage over a guy who had a 19-1 record, I think it was. Stopped him in 7 rounds. Prior to that, I think he stopped Linus Udofia, who's a good fighter. He was 18-1. He stopped him in 6 rounds, mid-rounds anyway. So he can hit a bit. Again, sometimes these records can be deceptive. And in fact, if you look at his defeats, one of them was to Austin Williams, Amo Williams. He lost a unanimous 10-round decision, and he did lose it. There's no doubt that he lost it. I mean, Williams was too physically strong and hit too hard. And although Conway was trying to answer back, trying to keep Williams at bay, Williams is kind of a wild fighter, throws an awful lot of punches from mid-range, even long range. He'll fire, but he'll put real wallop behind his shots. And he just looked too physically strong. I think he was on the floor when the 8th or the 9th Conway was, but he got up to go the distance. He also lost a split decision to Suleiman Sissoko, who at the time was 12 wins, no draws, no defeats. He lost a split decision to him. That was over in America. So he's travelled a bit as well, and that experience is always a great thing. You know, he got the victory in Japan. He's been to America. This all adds up, this experience. And I mentioned Derek Azaze earlier on. Well, actually, Azaze won a 3-round decision over Conway in one of those, boxer tournament things, I think it was. And that was 5 or 6 years ago. That was just a 3-round split decision. Azaze at the time was undefeated. So, on the draw, by the way, on his record is to Ted Cheeseman. And I've got to be honest, I thought Cheeseman won that fight. That was for the British super welterweight title, which was held by Cheeseman. It was a split draw. I thought, if I remember rightly, I thought Cheeseman won that fight. But here's the point. I mean, that Cheeseman fight, it was just 6 years ago or something, 7 years ago. But here's the thing. You know, I've said so many times on this channel, I really don't give a damn about defeats. If a fighter is defeated and they learn from it, then that's, that's the way that you progress in life. You make mistakes. You're not quite as good as you're going to be, but you learn from it and you move forward. And Conway, especially, I get back to his last performance when he won that vacant middleweight title, British middleweight title, against Jerome Warburton. I can't remember him ever looking as good as he did then. Now, what we've got, as I said a moment ago, is, we've got George Liddard, who's the young gun, 23, from Essex, probably doesn't think he can be beaten because he's never been beaten, he's never come close to it. Highly aggressive puncher. I say puncher, that again, 7 KOs in 12 wins doesn't mean he's a pure puncher, but he's very aggressive. He thinks he's a puncher, put it that way. And he just likes to get in your face. He's very physically strong. I think he's about 5'10", kind of squat middleweight, tough-looking middleweight. I would say he's probably physically stronger than Conway. Conway, Liddard mixes in. I don't want to sound like he's a caveman. I don't want it to sound like he's a caveman. He has skills, definitely, and he tries to mix them in with his aggression and his physical strength. But it's the physicality of Liddard that really hits home. Like when he manhandled Aaron Sutton, who is a good little fighter. If you look at the Azaze fight, it's competitive. I thought Liddard won it, but that was competitive. But he has that physicality. And if you look at Kieran Conway, the people that have given Conway trouble in the past are people who are very physical, most notably Austin Williams, Ammo Williams. Now, I know that fight was 3 or 4 years ago, but it did seem to me as if Ammo Williams was outmanning Conway. And I do wonder if, despite his apparent increase in aggression and maybe even hidden punching power that previously wasn't evident, I do wonder if Conway's going to be out-muscled by Liddard, because Conway did come up from 154. He had that draw against Cheeseman for the British title. He then moved up to middleweight. But with Liddard, you get the impression he'll finish at 168 because he's only 23. Even though Conway is a bit more conservative in his, not so much his output, but he likes to be a bit more precise than Liddard. He likes to let his punches go when he's convinced they're going to land. Whereas Liddard is a volume puncher. How do I see this fight going? I see LIDDARD probably, again, being too physically strong and probably having too much output for Conway. I think Conway will win rounds, and certainly he'll be competitive even in the rounds he loses. But I can see LIDDARD's aggression and strength probably getting the better of Conway and maybe pushing him back into his box, and so that he's less likely to be as physically rampaging as he was in his previous fight. I don't think that the aggression that he showed against Warburton, stopping him in 4 rounds, which was very impressive, I don't think he's going to be able to do that with LIDDARD. LIDDARD's just too physically strong. However, I would definitely say that Conway needs to wallop to the body and really put it on LIDDARD to the body. I would ignore the head. I mean, switch to the head occasionally, but he was so good to the body against Warburton. If he can get up close, maybe the eye of the storm is the safest, and then bang LIDDARD's body, he can really ask some questions of him that haven't been asked before. Having said that, I think probably over 12 rounds, I edge towards LIDDARD sort of 60-40. I think LIDDARD will probably win on physicality and output, will probably win more rounds than Conway, and therefore I'm going to go for a points win for George LIDDARD over Kieran Conway to win the British and Commonwealth middleweight belts, currently held by Conway. I mean, Conway's achieved tremendous things in his career already. At 29, he's still got time to come again if he was to lose. If he wins, Conway will go on to surely to fight for the EBU title. But LIDDARD is the prospect being fast-tracked, and I think we'll probably see him winning this fight on points. Very competitive, but I don't think there'll be anything controversial about the decision. All right, what do you think? Perhaps you disagree with me. If so, let me know why. Leave your comments in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. I always appreciate your support. Please like the video. If you hit the like button, that's great because I count them. You know, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, why not hit the subscribe button, because it takes a second, costs you nothing. We have videos for you virtually every day. All right, so thanks very much. Looking forward to reading your comments, and bye for now.